Right. Welcome inside to a case study we're doing here. I'm Jeremy with Digital Traffic Case, and I'm here with Michelle. And Michelle is a member of our store implementation program. Actually, probably a graduate by this point. She's been running her store for close to 12 months now. And an awesome story that I think is going to resonate with a lot of you that are watching here today. Just because Michelle did not have prior experience, she was actually referred to our program by a couple that had a lot of success and referred her to us. And she started out doing some drop shipping from China, quickly identified some holes in that did not work for her. So she shifted to a USA supplier. And she's also done something really unique because she's found trends, right? So she found something that did really well at a certain time last year, and then she made note of that so that she could sell that product again at the same time the following year. Lots of good stuff in this case study for those of you who are starting or growing your store. But just for starters, Michelle, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself, anything you were doing, what you were focused on, and sort of your situation kind of before you found us in our program, and kind of what led you to decide to want to explore working with us.
Yes. Hi, I'm Michelle. I am a mum of 2 young children. I've recently just quit my job as a health professional to be a full-time stay-home mum. So as you can imagine, life at home is pretty busy with 2 very young kids. When I started the program, I had an 18-month-old and a 2-year-old. So that was a year ago, and yeah, as you can imagine, it was quite hectic for me. I was referred to the program by my work colleague, who I believe a lot of you would know, they've actually went through the program and have built a really successful business out of it. So they mentioned it to me in passing one day, and they said, hey, if you want to just, start your own business while you're staying home, not working, while it's a good thing you could do as a stay-home mum. So I looked into the program and I thought, hey, why not? I'll just give it a go. I've got nothing to do, got nothing to lose. It will keep me busy. It's kind of like a little hobby. But also being as, a single income household where my husband's the only one going to work, I feel like I would like to contribute, financially while I stay home and look after the kids. So that's where I started this program and started looking more into it.
That's awesome. So yeah, just a quick recap. The referrals are like the highest form of, flattery that we can get in our program. Like when people are referred to us from somebody who went through, and yeah, Michelle was referred by a couple who joined us. We have a case study on them as well. And they went on to build their own successful brand, which is awesome. So Michelle's like about to transition out of healthcare, stay-at-home mom, wants to contribute to the family, husband's working, single income. And she's like, hey, they mentioned, hey, maybe this is something you can do. And she's like, okay, it's kind of a wait and see type thing. Maybe this will be a side thing. Maybe I can grow it. So I think the story behind that is really awesome. But I've got to ask, Michelle, so there's a lot of stuff online when it comes to whether it's growing a business, starting a business, e-commerce. There's a lot of 19-year-old fancy YouTubers. There's a lot out there. So obviously you're looking to join a program. You got to have some sort of skepticism. Like,
yep.
What do I know about these people? How do I know this organization is, professional? Like, can you tell us about that? Because I think a lot of people could probably relate to what you might have been feeling.
Yep. I came into it knowing nothing about e-commerce, knowing nothing about dropshipping, not even Amazon. I don't even know how to sell on Amazon. So when my friends mentioned this program, I looked into it, and that's when a lot of those ads started popping up on my Facebook page. But what really drew me to you guys to sign up to join the course was, number one, my friends have been through the course. You guys are genuine, and from what I've read, you've got a team of people supporting you 24/7 for the length of the program. So I think the main thing was I was referred to you guys, so I knew, you know, the program is, you know, it's reliable in some sense. So word of mouth, definitely. So that's why I signed up with you guys.
Gotcha. So yeah, so maybe you're thinking like, will I be supported? You were saying you're brand new, so obviously you're wondering, will I get the support I need? Will I get people helping me? Being referred obviously is a lot. You know,
Yep.
you didn't just find us out of nowhere. That's awesome.
Yep.
But you mentioned something I think is important. I am a firm believer that it's very hard. Yes, people are like, well, I can just do everything on my own. And you probably can. And I'm not going to ever be the one to tell somebody they can't be successful. But I've benefited from mentors and coaches in my own life, in my own business. I mean, honestly, I would not be anywhere near where I am. I would not be on this call if it wasn't for coaches all the way back, 7-8 years back.
Yep.
So from the tech, we have a tech team that builds your store. We have the ads team that sets up and reviews
Yep.
them. We even have 2 accountability, I like to call them concierges, but
Coaches.
coaches
Yep.
that literally are
Yep.
telling you, hey, here's what you need to be working on right now. And they're
Yep.
almost forcing you to take action, which is lots of good stuff.
And another thing was the emails that I received from you before I signed up. They were genuine emails. You could tell they're genuine emails because you have it feels personal. Like I could relate to it. So it's definitely. And since joining the program, it really, like, everything is as you have said it in your emails, in your marketing, the support team, they're just amazing. It's just one of the top mentors out there, I must say. Like I've had mentors in my own health profession during my career, and what I can say is this is definitely one of the best. You guys are always there. If you need any problems, you need any help, you get a response straight away. Like you don't have to wait days for it. It's, you're on top of things, and it's really good to know that, you've got people out there helping you whenever you need it.
Yeah. I appreciate that. And I think you're fortunate because you were referred. So this was kind of your first go at it. But a lot of people we work with, they're like, I've been through other programs and it takes like 5 days to get a response and there's nobody that helps me. And I'm in a Facebook group with like 1,000 people. And it's like, yeah, that's fine and all. That's just not what kind of like we feel like people need. But look, people want to know, I want to get to the kind of the fun stuff because people are kind of like, okay, she started this, she was brand new. So there's kind of 2 parts to this. One is we're going to talk about kind of results you've achieved to this point. But the first thing is you had a breakthrough, and I kind of hinted at this in the beginning. And it was like right when you started, I think you said it was like one of the first products you tested. And you did something that
was the first product.
Okay, the first product you tested. For those of you watching, don't expect to test one product and just like take off. But here's the thing. Michelle used something that we teach. Every month we do like themes inside our community where we add new content on different topics. And one of the things we like to teach is basically like the times of year are so crucial to what you're selling, because you have like the new year, and then you have Valentine's, then you have like Easter, and you have Mother's Day, Father's Day, back to school, you have summertime, you have, then the fall comes, and you have, obviously Halloween's and Thanksgiving's, and then Q4, and it all repeats itself. So it's important to, number one, if you're watching this, to try and tie in what you're selling to those times. It doesn't mean you have to sell, for instance, a Valentine's product, but maybe you say that this could be a great Valentine's gift, right? It doesn't have to be a lovey-dovey type gift. So Michelle, basically, the first product that you tried was, I don't want to say the specific time of year, but it was related to a holiday. Yeah. And that was like your first big breakthrough. Like you said, it just took off and you had like 50 sales in the first week.
Yes.
Yeah. So like, what were you thinking? Were you like, oh, wow, this really works? Or like,
I actually did. I was like, oh my gosh, this program is amazing. The coaches are fantastic. I was like, oh, could this be just my, it could be just my luck, or, it was a fluke. But no, it wasn't just like, I got lucky. it took it did take work. I mean, the coaches walked me through how to write an ad copy to target that specific product during that season. It's not like, you just put it up and, you got sales from it. So it was a product, obviously, through the coaches. They agreed that there was a fantastic product to put on. And yeah, with a bit of help with, targeting and an ad copy and what angle we're going to take with that, we managed to get a winner the first time round.
Yep. And again, I would like to give some value on these. She just nailed on something that we always talk about, is that targeting is not really, you call it laser targeting. It's not just like the audience. It's not just the interest you choose for your ad. Targeting starts with the angle. There's three components. There's the angle, the audience, and then the ad, right? And you come up with that angle, which is basically what's the reason somebody's going to buy this. You can't just say, hey, this is really cool. There's got to be a reason. And many times you can find that by reading reviews of why other people bought it. Then that leads you to your audience. And then that helps you write your ad, because you're basically speaking to whatever the angle is to that audience. So not only did you do that, what's cool is that when the year wrapped around and that same time of year came again, and again, I don't want to say what the specific time was. I guess it wouldn't really matter, but let's just keep it under wraps. Like to keep things a little secretive. So you basically started selling that same product again that you were selling the previous year, and it just again, it was like nothing changed. Just put it up, turn the ad on.
Yep. I didn't change anything. I didn't change the ad copy or anything. I just turned it back on. And no, I did add it as a pre-order because I knew there's interest in it. And with the pre-order, within the first week, I pretty much sold it's a huge amount of it, more than I did the last year. So that's really good.
Okay, so now for those of you who there's different models people teach, and we used to, way back, we don't hide from it, we used to do more drop shipping from China. That's just kind of what the thing was back then, and to be honest, I just didn't know another way. Several years ago we kind of shifted because drop shipping from China just brought a lot of uncertainty with product quality, shipping times, the packaging, the suppliers, just a lot of uncertainty that I wasn't comfortable doing or teaching. So we basically took several months and kind of learned, hey, how do we work with USA suppliers? And there's a lot to that I don't want to get into, but Michelle, you kind of experienced this where you found a couple of suppliers on AliExpress, that products that you were selling and they were doing well, and then the suppliers kind of just like disappeared on you. They weren't sending orders, and you got left with a lot of upset customers. And I think it's important to focus on that, because then we can talk about what happened after that you learned from. But I'm sure that was like a time when you were like kind of stressed and, really frustrated with what was going on.
Yeah. So that was basically my second winning product. I went through AliExpress to find a supplier. That supplier stated that they were shipping from the United States warehouse, which was only going to take 4 to 7 days, which in fact, it was actually coming from China, and it was taking way longer. So it was taking 2 weeks for them to even ship the product out, and then however long it is to be shipped to USA. So yeah, I had so many orders that weren't being shipped in time. I had customers asking me where was their product was, because obviously, they were expecting it within 2 weeks. So I ended up having to deal with a lot of refunds, a lot of customer complaints. And you know what? At the end of it, I even filed an appeal with the supplier on AliExpress, and they never even replied back to my appeal. And yeah, it was just a complete nightmare. So I've moved off using a supplier from AliExpress and finding suppliers outside of, so within United States, more on Etsy, and more local small businesses that I'm trying to support right now.
Yeah, I think a big misconception is people think they have to use AliExpress or Chinese suppliers. And what we found is that when we went several years ago, did our research, we're like, wow, there's so many businesses out there, like you said, small businesses that want to work with retailers, that want you to sell their products. And Some of them are just interested in wholesale. They want you to buy in bulk. But a lot of them, many of them are just like, hey, yes, please, we will drop ship for you. And we have lots of ways to find these, whether there's a lot of businesses that drop ship that don't advertise, right? And there's ways to find them that they do drop ship, which is great. And then you mentioned there's many savvy business owners on platforms like Etsy that have unique products, and they want to work with, retailers like you to sell their products because it's a win-win, right? They're able to sell more products. You have a supplier that gets your products to the person quick. What I think is really cool, I was telling Michelle Michelle is not in the US, so Australia, but she sells to the US and she has suppliers in the US. So the power of the internet is real, y'all. It's really cool how we can do things like that. And I wanted to hit on that. But so we talked about that downside, but that kind of led to something else. Because then you were kind of like, screw this. I'm going to start working with US suppliers that get the customers their items quick, that are reliable, that I can talk to, that I'm not worried about all this uncertainty that we experienced ourselves in the past. And again, we're not going to get into specifics, but you were telling me that you hit on a product from a USA supplier, and it's just kind of taken off for you. And I want to hit on one other thing, by the way. When you're talking about US suppliers, people are like, oh, well, you don't get as good of margins. And that's not always true, but it may be true that the prices are higher from a US supplier. But if the customer gets their items quicker, they're more likely to buy again. They're easier to turn into a repeat customer. So there's a lot. It may be a little bit more expensive on the front end, not always, it could be, but you will have a greater chance to make more sales on the back end. And we're talking about the long game here. It's not just a quick sale and done like the China model. So you found a supplier in the US and you found a really cool product, and this one just took off too, right?
Yep, this one took off, and it's amazing because I don't feel like I have to stress over it, whether the customer's actually going to receive it, when are they going to receive it, because I know, because number one, I know these people are shipping it from the US, from the United States, because they are in the United States. They are handmade in the United States, and they're also small businesses who really want to sell their products. So they're actually really keen for me to carry their products and sell it for them. So I've managed to create a really good rapport and relationship with a couple of the small businesses to take the business, to take this product off the market, to sell it basically. So it's going really well, obviously with the help of the coaches to guide me through, what direction we should take with the products. And we're really looking to scale it now, which is really exciting.
So Michelle is very humble. So I want to point something out that she didn't say. But Michelle, you found this product. You got approval from the seller to drop ship. You put it up, and tell everybody what happened in the first 24 hours.
Yes. So initially I had a bit of trouble in terms of not knowing what I should do with it. Contacted one of the coaches. They came back, told me what to do. Well, not exactly told me what to do, but gave me guidance in terms of what I should do and what direction to take with it. And within the first 24 hours, we made just over $400 sales on that one particular product itself.
So you say you find this product from a US supplier, you contact them, and you actually marked it up quite a bit, which I like. You have a good margin on it. And so I think you were telling me, you make anywhere from maybe 12 to 13 per unit per sale in profit, not revenue. Your revenue is obviously higher, which is important. Yes. And you put this up, you get some guidance on targeting from one of our coaches. I remember you posted, and then you wake up and there's like 400 in sales, right? That is again a testament to the internet and how fast things can happen. And then what's even better is what you told me is that this is a product that can be kind of you can shift the angles to appeal to different markets. So it's very scalable. And again, when we talk about scaling, we talk about two things. We talk about growth, which is just when something is working, you want to do more of it, spend more money. But there's also expansion. That's another asset. That's more horizontal scaling where, hey, I'm selling this to this market. How do I take this product and position it to this market, this market, this market, right? And that's what you're also doing, which I think is which is really cool. And you probably haven't even scratched the surface with this product yet.
That's right. Yep. And the best thing about this is there's so many different interests I can target with it, which is fantastic, which give us, a really nice, big, broad spreadsheet of, ideas that we can go with.
Yeah. And you were able to find what I think is cool is also not just a USA supplier, but one that makes handmade products, which means that really limits the competition for what you're doing. You're not going to find a AliExpress supplier that's gonna, at least it's not easy to, that's gonna basically hand make. That makes the value of what you're selling this much higher, meaning you can price it higher because it's handmade. There's so many benefits to what you're doing. I love it. So what I want to do is basically say, number one, congrats on all your success from coming from not understanding what this stuff is, but just knowing what your goals were, to getting to a point where you're one of our favorite stories of, what you've done, what you've, been able to do, and you're still going strong. And secondly, for the people watching this, like, because you came in not really understanding what it was, you were just referred, but not just to our program, but anybody that's wanting to start and grow a store, and our program, I guess, like who do you think would be like the best fit? Like, what type of person is going to excel at doing this?
Coming from my experience, someone like myself, so a mum who's, a stay-home mum who want to be there for their children, but can't, but don't want to be out there having to go to work, the 9-to-5 job. This is a great program for all of us, because number one, like myself, I do most of my work when the kids go to bed. And if I can do it within the night times between 9 to 12 o'clock that my kids are sleeping, anyone can do it. You can do it in your flexible hours. You can do it, anywhere, anytime. When you're waiting in the car, waiting to pick the kids up, sometimes I'm just sitting there trying to, write some targeting, some ad copy. Like this is the perfect job for anyone who's staying at home trying to look after kids, but you can also, make some money on the side here too.
I think that's awesome. I think that's anybody who's watching this who's a stay-at-home parent that'll probably resonate with them. But even if we broaden that, I think as a whole, for people that maybe have young families who want to spend more time with those young families, and who maybe want to eventually, even if they're working a 9-to-5, they want to transition out of that and control more of their time. I think that a lot of people can relate to that, the stay-at-home moms, or even the dad who's going to work but has the family he wants to spend more time with. We've seen that too. So I appreciate you sharing your perspective. That's why we do these, because everybody's perspective is going to be unique. So with that said, again, thanks for coming on, Michelle. Thanks for sharing some nuggets with those watching, and we look forward to seeing you on your journey continuing.
Thank you very much. And thank you to all the coaches.